So at a certain point, Tony Schiavone came to me. We had lunch together, and he's like, Ter, they want to make you this character. Are you interested or not? And I was like, dude, talk to me. And I had nothing to do with the character at all, except for the name. I came up with the name Alexandra York. Like, that was the only claim I have to that character. But it was kind of like the thing with Brian, that all happened kind of simultaneously. And if I'm wrong, because I have a horrible memory, someone please correct me. But yeah, so Brian and I dated. And yeah, if you want to know more about Brian and I, talk to me, or let me shut up.
Is there anything about Brian that would surprise us to know, aside of him, that you saw? I know you knew him for more than just the time you dated him. You were around him many, many years.
Yeah. He was, I shouldn't say he was the most intense person I ever knew in the business. He was so intense. And I don't know how graphic you want me to be. I don't mind being graphic. Like
Sure, be graphic.
I'm sorry?
You can be graphic.
Okay. So I've spoken honestly about this because, to this day, I love and care for him. And I love and care for his children. But so he and I were dating, and he came to me one day and said that his ex-girlfriend is pregnant. And I said, dude, because we had just started dating, like maybe a couple of months, no big deal. And I said, dude, like, that's okay. Just you go do what you need to do, be a dad, be a husband, whatever. Like, we'll always be friends. Like, that's cool. And I thought everything was cool. And like, he started getting very, very like, he would watch me, and anything if I talked to someone for too long, he would say things to me. But the worst thing that happened was, I don't remember where it was in Alabama. I think it might have been Montgomery. I don't know. It was in Alabama, though. I do remember that. And this was during the era of, oh God, I almost need to go back, Devin, because unless you know about this drug, this will make no sense. But do you remember gamma hydroxybutyrate?
Yeah, it was very popular for what, a decade or so
Yeah,
among wrestlers.
yeah, but the interesting thing was, it was available. Like, I bought mine at Lex and Sing's gym.
Right, it was considered health.
Yeah, like, it came out, and the big thing that everyone talked about was, it'll help you lose body fat and it will help you sleep. Well, shit, I had to be at CNN at 4 a.m. I could never get to sleep early enough to get enough sleep to wake up and feel rested. So I was like, lose body fat, sleep, hell yeah, that's I'm all about it, right?
Yeah.
And so, but the interesting thing was, you could buy it right there at Sting and Lex's gym, and that's what I did. It's not like black market, or like, no, it was legal, and you bought it at the gym, and it was great, right? Anyway, so fast forward again, and we're in Alabama, and Tom Zink, rest in peace, was in my room, sitting in a chair. It was a room where there's a bed and like a living room set up, and he was sitting in a chair. And all of a sudden, this bam, bam, bam on the door happens, and it's Brian screaming. And he's like, I don't want to say everything he said because I love his children, and we won't say all the things he said. Anyway, he ended up knocking down the hotel room door accusing Tom Zink, which was his best friend at the time, of screwing me. Meanwhile, Tom's sitting in a chair. I'm over here on a bed sitting there. We're like nowhere near each other. And yeah, it was brutal. It was nasty. It was ugly. And then he started leaving messages on my voicemail, which back in the day, like now there's no little tiny recorders that fit into a little audio thing. I don't know how old you are, Devin, but like back in the day, we
Yeah,
had
I remember those.
right. And he started leaving me these nasty messages. It got so bad because I couldn't sleep again. And if I did sleep, then I was awakened by like him leaving a message. And so finally it was like WCW had to intervene at a certain point. But anyway, but fast forward, like I still love him. I respect him. I hate that he's gone. I love his kids. And I just think that, and this is one thing he said to me. He said, I thought you were going to wait for me. I'm like, dude, like I told you, like you had a baby coming, you had an ex-girlfriend that you were having a baby with. Like, we'll be friends. What part of I'm going to wait for you had anything to do with that? And so, yeah, it was kind of disconcerting, but yeah, finally he got over it. When he finally came to WWF, um, we had, and we did the whole, like, he kidnapped me and he had me for 30 days and all that stuff. We had so much fun filming those vignettes. Like, they were crazy and silly, and we laughed and we had a good time. And I'm happy that those were our last memories together. So
Were you surprised that he passed, or could you see kind of the downward spiral happening?
I knew back in WCW that he was not well, right? And then when he came up to WWF, and I was working with him, I knew shit was not all straight. But I remember the night before he passed, um, in my contract, because of Dakota, I did not do house shows. I only did pay-per-views and TVs, so that I was home with her, for the majority of time. And there were a few occasions where the company would ask me, will you come on the road and will you, do these house shows? And I would acquiesce and say yes. And, I was a team player, right? And so the night before he passed, I remember, because again, he owned me and I was dressed in all the black and the nose ring and the whatever, right? And he was so rough with me that night. Like he scratched my neck and he was just really rough with me. And I said to him after we got backstage, I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, he was like totally pissed off. He was like, "Yeah, nobody will let me ride with them." So I went to Dustin and I said, "Can we let him ride with us? Because nobody will let him." And Dustin said, "No, he'll find somebody will let him ride with him. Yeah, it's okay." So I, you know, pissed it off and like, okay, somebody to let him ride with him, right? And the next day was our pay-per-view where Dustin and I were supposed to, um, what was it called when you do your vows again? Not reunite, but help me.
I don't remember, but yeah.
When you come together after you've been married and you not reunite. Is it reunite your vows? No.
No, I have never done it, so I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. People do it all the time.
Any hoodle doodles. So we're supposed to do that whole scene on the pay-per-view October 5th. And it's my birthday that day. So I was a little bit preoccupied because of my birthday too, right? So it's pay-per-view, my birthday, it's a big show, big pay-per-view, what we're going to do with Brian. I'm going to turn and go heel with Brian, and Dustin's going to turn babyface, right? And it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Brian's not there. And we had to be at the building. If you were doing an Eastern Standard Time pay-per-view or show, you had to be there at 1 p.m. If you backed up the hours, backward, you had to be there at 2, whatever, right? Or I'm sorry, not 2, 12, 11, 10, whatever, yeah. Right? Anyway, I'm like, Brian's not here, Dust. And he's like, oh, he'll be here. He'll be here soon. And so I remember I finally went. I think it was Earl Hebner. I'm like, Brian's not here, dude. He's not here, and something's wrong. And somebody ended up calling the hotel, and yeah, they found him dead. And I always wondered if Dustin and I would have let him ride with us and, uplifted him in some way, would things have been different? And I know people that experience death like that often question themselves, but I still do. I still wonder, because I'm one of those people where I love to lift, laud, and love someone. And I just would have never had him go to his hotel room distraught and that upset.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.